Well, it's a happy moment and a sad moment.
Sad moment, but happy because we need a change.
Yeah, it's the end of an era again, but the start of a new era. So as you saw in one of our last videos, we just got the new electric bikes because we're replacing the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And you remember Guillermo, the gentleman that sold us the first motorcycle, and he is now buying the second motorcycle as well. So we are going to leave it here in San Andres, and that's it. We move on. We're going electric and starting to travel. So we want to thank Guillermo very much. Muchas gracias, amigo.
Thank you. I know that then you have a care of our moto.
If we hoped anybody would get it, it would be Guillermo. So cheers to that. Salute.
Por la moto.
Salute.
Salute.
Salute. Onwards and
Hey,
upwards.
look me. Now it's back.
Onwards and upwards. Here we go.
Okay, where is the key?
Okay. Now we need the keys.
You come without key another time?
No, it's downstairs. I go get the second set. There we go. 2 sets of keys. Yeah, somebody's not very happy.
I like my motorcycle.
Yeah, we're gonna miss our rides, that's for sure. It was nice, but we're just gonna ride a different way now.
Yeah, we need to make some workout, really.
We need to get back in shape. That's the only problem with the motorcycle. It tends to make us a little bit lazy, and you know, down here pays the penalty. So 2 sets of keys, on to the new owner. Salute.
Yeah, I know, but I can make the last ride before them leave, before them say goodbye to the motor. No. We don't want any damage in the last moment.
No, once we move on, it's time to move on. So, next chapter, people. Next chapter. Salute.
Yeah.
It's time to say goodbye, so this stays with me. This will probably live on my wall in the boat now for indefinitely. Permanent memory of our time in Colombia. Okay, todo bien?
Todo bien.
All right, amigo. Ciao, eh?
Ciao.
A big boy.
Príncipe dormido.
Like
Daniela, say hi.
Hi. Yeah, Daniela visit us. She came to know Ricardo.
Ok. Hola, Dani.
Hi.
Some of you might remember our good friend Daniela. She's the Armada captain that we met here a couple years ago during lockdown. And last year, she was the one that actually married us on board Sophisticated Lady right here in the Anchorage. She was transferred to mainland a while back, but this week she called up Maddie and said, "Hey, I'm taking a vacation and coming to San Andres. I want to meet Ricardo." So she's on board for the weekend, and today the girls are having a ladies' day out. Well, today Larry and I have a big project going on that I've been waiting and looking forward to doing for a long time. We're finally going to replace the antique water heater, because this thing has been on board forever. I've replaced it once, I think in 2010. It's a Raritan 12-gallon hot water tank, because it needs to be big because the boat was a charter boat, so it needs lots of hot water. But it also is a lot of extra weight and space that's taken up in an area where I could definitely do something more worthwhile. But 12 gallons at 10 pounds a gallon, it's 120 pounds plus about 20-30 pounds for the tank. You're looking at 140-150 pounds of dead space just sitting there because we don't use it. We are upgrading to something more modern and high-tech that I've used to use these a long time ago, but this is a demand water heater. It's 110 volt 3.5 kilowatt demand water heater. It's not meant to do a whole house or anything like that. It's meant for a single faucet or a single shower or anything like that. But of course in a boat, that's fine, because we don't, you know, everybody doesn't shower at the same time or do dishes at the same time. So I think this is going to be more than adequate, because it'll give us a 24 degrees Fahrenheit rise in temperature at 1 gallon per minute. And that's more than adequate for what we need. We don't need hot water. It's just nice to have to shower, or it's just nice to not shower in cold water. But yeah, we're going to install this bad boy today and give it a test, and it's going to hook right into our two main inverters, because I've got dual 3 kilowatt inverters in parallel. So we have 6 kilowatts capability inside this locker right here. Okay, because you can see these two guys right here, one in the back and one forward. And these are our dual Victron 3 kilowatt inverters. And those are hooked up in parallel to produce 6 kilowatts simultaneously through the power bus. Or we're going to hook this water heater directly into that same power bus. So literally all we have to do is remove this water heater. It already has, you can see, this is our PEX tubing with the old fittings there. And we got a shut-off valve right here and a shut-off valve right here. So that's the cold water inlet shut-off. This is the hot water outlet shut-off, which will shut off there now. So we can disconnect these. The wiring's been disconnected for years because the system hasn't worked in a long time. The element's been burnt out of it. The only problem we've got is that this is obviously cooled from the coolant on the engine. There's a manifold in here, so a hot water exchanger, a heat exchanger. So we have to disconnect these and either loop them together to close the circuit, or go back through, because they go down under here and into here. And since I'm not going to use the engine for water cooling anymore, we're going to remove these water hoses entirely. So down through the floor and up to the engine. So we need to disconnect them from the engine and bypass them basically completely. So one piece of tubing will connect the inlet and the outlet, so the engine doesn't even know it's there anymore. So that's today's job. The new. You guys always say, oh, we keep bringing weight onto the boat. We just never show you taking it off. Well, that's some of the weight going off. Under here, we've got 12 lithium batteries now instead of lead acid. And that shaves literally about 400 pounds off the boat right there. And we lose another 150 pounds here. So, we keep going. Because this thing weighs 2 pounds. And it just runs off electric, which is going to run straight off our solar panels, so that's going to be very cool. Oh, and I think it's going to fit this panel that I used to have here. This used to be one of my solar controllers, and the solar controller, I had to move it because this water tank would always develop leaks and sprayed the solar controller one time. So I moved the solar controller, but I think this will probably fit right on that panel just nicely. I think in here is going to be a great spot for the new inverters when we change inverters again. So when you look in here, there's where the water heater was, behind a panel, and up here is where the inverters are. But it's very hard to get in here and get out all the wiring that's buried in the back there. Had these bags of spare parts, all different kinds of adapters, connectors, fittings, everything for years. Some of these parts have been here for 12, 15 years, who knows. All little fittings like this. But this is what we're using to put this thing together, because the boat system comes straight down and we need it to come around. So I found all these adapters and a shut-off, and made one that'll sit here, and then that will plug right into there. we are going to add in the 48 volt bank, which is now going to become the source for all of our high power charging and discharging. So it is what is going to feed from the new engine when we get the alternator mounted on there, because it's a 48 volt 4 kilowatt alternator, and not only one, but there's going to be two. We also have a new 6 kilowatt inverter in the back room there that we're going to have to mount in here somewhere, and that inverter is what we're going to use to run the new induction galley. Okay, so right now we're running the whole boat on dual Victrons, which are 3 kilowatts each, so 6 kilowatts combined at 24 volts. But I want to run that off the 48 volt system to decrease the current even again. So when we put in the new 48 volt battery in here, we're going to use one of the new e-propulsion 9 kilowatt hour LifePo 4 batteries, and its case size in a rack mount case is exactly the same size as this cabinet right here without these 4 batteries. So we're going to take out these 4 batteries to start. We have to move these solar controllers, so we need to find a new location for those. And then basically the rack mount battery will drop into here and wire up. And then we're going to pull these 4 batteries out also. As you can see here, we have 4 of the Battleborn 12 volt batteries in a series parallel configuration for 24 volts. And then we have 8 more of the Battleborn batteries in the same configuration. So each pair is in series. So they produce 24 volts in each pair, and then each pair is put in parallel to give us 24 volts in a total of 600 amp hours. So now we are going to replace these 4 batteries, which are 200 amp hours at 24 volts, with one battery that is 187 amp hours at 48 volts. So it's going to be, you know, about a 40% increase in power for the same amount of space that we're going to use in this cabinet. We just have to shuffle things around to make it fit. So that's going to be the challenge.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you play? Oh, with this?
Otra noche en Orlando, baby, deja ese llanto que andamos gozando y seguimos bailando. Baby, sé que te encanto. Otra noche en Orlando, baby, deja ese llanto que andamos gozando y seguimos bailando.
Okay, that's positive power cable. Got the solar inputs disconnected for the arch panels. So now we take this guy out and we'll get him mounted in the new location back in that locker. And then we'll take the wires off this little one. And then that's where that new 70 amp is going to get mounted in back in there with the 100 amp. But it's in use right now, just topping up all the batteries. So we'll leave it there for now and we'll just focus on the 100 amp. So tonight we got a special surprise. It's sundown, so just after, well, it's almost sundown, but we got an invitation to come over to a friend's boat this evening. And you guys might remember the last time we saw these guys when we were in Panama, and they were on a boat that was at the dock in Shelter Bay Marina, but we had just missed them. They had invited us to come over and see their boat that day before they flew out back to the States, because I like this boat. It's a really nice looking boat and I'm dying to see the inside of it. But it is right out there, just in the anchorage, and you can probably just barely see it. I'm sorry, I only got the GoPro because my Sony's dead right now, but this is the boat that we met in Panama. And it's a catch, it's a big catch, but it's a lot of custom work gone into that boat. I can tell she's had a lot of care from these owners. So we're really looking forward to going over and meeting them and having a nice dinner on the boat. It's going to be great. So just waiting for Madalena and Ricardo to finish up and be ready. And then we're going to load our butts in the dinghy and make our way across the bay.
We have a lot of boats now. I count today they are 16. We are in 16 boats.
Yeah, I think that's the most sailboats I've seen here since the rally.
Yeah.
That's like 3 years ago.
Oh, we have a lot.
Lots of boats.
have a neighbor. Oh, it's very nice boat.
Yeah, there she be.
I never saw like nice like this because it was all covered in Shelter Bay.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was covered.
Wow.
Good evening. Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. It's more beautiful than last time.
Oh, great.
It's so a pretty lady. It's so a pretty lady. And they maintenance is amazing.
We got to see from all sides.
Yeah, it's so elegant, so beautiful.
It's quite a tall step up for you guys comparatively.
You ran a water maker?
No, it's the engine.
Do we have a water maker?
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the generator.
Yeah, generator. We're that's air conditioning going on down
Okay, now I think so. Better.
Okay, you ready, buddy?
No, wait.
Luggage.
Okay, let's up.
Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Anytime, right?
Gracias. Thank you, sir.
Certainly. Good to have you.
Good to see you guys again. Wow, look at this. You got a
Yeah.
living room in your back deck.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah,
our
this
favorite
is the
thing about
backyard.
boat.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, you guys suck.
Hey,
This is the cigar deck.
Yeah, look at that. Nice chairs.
Yeah, have a seat.
it's beautiful.
Hey, Ricardo.
Wow, beautiful.
Hello, sweet boy.
Yeah, we didn't get to see any of this. Look, butterfly hatches, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all rebuilt.
Beautiful.
We'll give you a little.
Really? All rebuilt?
Well, we bought this boat. It had been in a corporate bankruptcy, so it had been tied to a dock for 5 years with nobody allowed to go on it, and nothing on it worked. I mean, we got a great price, but there was
Wow.
nothing on it. When I went down to test the batteries, the post just pulled out.
Oh,
You know, the
I love
heat
the
exchangers
boat,
were
though.
solid. It was,
starting from
Oh, look
scratch.
at him. He's
Basically.
watching you so intently.
Wow.
yeah,
It's alright, I just walk around
Yeah,
quick
please.
just before the sun goes down?
sure, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then we'll take you downstairs.
Wow. Look at
Go
the
on up.
woodwork. Wow. Beautiful.
Yes, we. It's all Satal.
It's beautiful. Me too. I'm so happy, and today I very enjoyed.
Love the catch rigs.
Yeah, they are nice. It makes it great for short-handed sailing at 2 feet.
Ah, mosquito netting on the butterfly hatches. Oh, that's some serious stainless railing.
Yeah, we put this in. It was lifelines,
Yeah.
and this I put in about 3 years before we went cruising, just to make it nice and stable for, you know, with short-handed. I'm up here with sometimes on my own on the foredeck.
Yeah, and they're high, like 30-something inches.
Yeah, they're nice and high, and you know, we still use jack lines, but this really gives you a nice place to lean against when I'm setting the spinnaker or anything else.
Yeah, yeah. Really nice. Look at the detail on this boat. You guys have been spending some time.
I spent 6.5, 7 years rebuilding it before we took off cruising.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, this is like the 5th boat I've rebuilt. This is just the one that was the one that my wife said, all right, when you finish this one, I'll go cruising with you.
Look at that. That is a thing of beauty. So you've got, is that dual windlass? Or dual on both sides?
Well, it's a single windlass. It just has dual
but you can
sides.
bring in chain rode on both sides or no?
This side is just 30 feet of chain. It's really great.
Okay,
This
okay.
side's chain.
Gotcha, yeah, I think that's what we're going to
The
do.
wheel that I did to hold it down,
Yep.
that's a hub from a Jeep Cherokee.
There's improvisation.
Got a little creative, yeah.
Sailors, we have to.
And
Yeah, look at that bowsprit. That's
we
beautiful.
lost the bowsprit in 14-foot seas and 70 knot winds.
This is the one you said was rebuilt.
Yeah, we rebuilt it in Panama, and then I reinforced it, putting in the extra stainless steel straps there.
Yeah.
And threaded and through bolted everything in too. So
just to keep all the wood down now.
Yeah, we didn't lose any.
It was waves that you said took it out.
Yeah, we buried the boat coming down a steep wave in literally a 70 knot gust. We buried it all the way to about a third of the way up the mast, right at the where the stack pack is.
Yeah. And
so this was down a good 25 feet, and the pressure when it came up, it just shattered all the wood. And we lost.
You mean you almost pitch pulled the boat?
No, it was straight down. So it came back up without a problem, but it came up without a bowsprit, and the anchor, it broke the anchor safeties, so we lost. We were sitting in seas. It's still down there. The anchor was 300 feet of chain, or 350 feet of chain down. There was no way to pull it up, so I had to cut the line, and we lost the anchor, the bowsprit, and it was not a fun day. It was.
That was in Panama?
That was in the Gulf of Panama. Yeah.
Oh, on the Pacific side.
On the Pacific side, yeah.
One of those crazy storms.
We'd spent a week up on the islands in North Panama near Costa Rica, and it was just gorgeous every day. And it was so nice, I didn't even bother to check predict wind. We just went the 70 miles over to go into the Gulf of Panama. Mm-hmm. And that'll teach me that you really always should check predict wind, because we turned that corner right over by Point Mall, mm-hmm. and bam, it just hit us. And then I spent 3 days, because I'm an idiot, instead of turning around, 3 days trying to sail in. We made about 100 miles sailing and about 6 miles to our mark. So finally we turned around and just sailed back and waited 2 days, and then it was perfect and went in about 4 hours. Oh well,
Nasty.
Everybody's got to have at least a bad day here and there.
Sailors? Really? What do you mean? Wow, look at the stainless work. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
They did a really nice job. It's one thing I wish I had on the Lady, a bowsprit.
I know you were saying you're thinking about adding one. I love having a bowsprit. And there's nothing in the world like when we get in a school of dolphin and get up there. And
I wouldn't be able to put one like this, but I was just thinking about extending the rail outside just from the back cleats here and just go out maybe, 1 meter, meter and a half, something like that.
Enough for a seat?
Yeah, enough for a dolphin seat.
And also put a nice point out there for the asymmetrical.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting it in front of the sail makes it so much easier
to handle.
That's what
I was thinking. It'd be beautiful to have the nice attachment point and keep it permanently rigged, maybe on a.
Yeah, I just put a block on the end.
Top-down furler or something.
It's a chunk of mahogany that goes all the way out to the underneath the bowsprit to the front, and I just put a block on it. And when I run the asymmetrical, so it actually is way out in front of everything. Yeah. It makes a huge difference. It's not a bigger sail, it just is so much easier out in front of the bowsprit and in front of the Genoa.
Nice.
Yeah.
We are in the house. Look at the Ricardo. Wow. It's so hilarious.
Hi. You're so sweet. Very sweet boy you are. Yes.
Wow, it's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Look at the door.
Beautiful galley.
To have the doors with the carvings on them, but we put a lot of carvings on.
Yeah, the original owner did not. Yeah, the original owner did not order the
captain's quarters.
Is it your room?
I think that's the one I thought you'd like the best.
Oh,
can't see it.
Flogging will continue until morale.
Oh, the floggings will continue until morale improves. Yeah, I remember that from lots of hats, huh?
Yeah. And
wow.
This is the original advertisement for this boat.
Oh.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
From when?
From 1980.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The internet's great for finding.
And where was it built?
In Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan's. Taipei.
This is my turtle from Huatuco.
From what?
Turtle from Huatuco. When we traveled from Zihuatanejo to Huatuco on the Pacific side, I saw 24 sea turtles in 1 hour on my watch. And so when we got to Huatuco, I had to have a sea turtle. And that was my favorite place to dive. So it looks like he has scuba gear on. And then this is my best girlfriend in Hawaii. This is her daughter's artwork.
She's painter?
Yeah, she's a painter.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
I like this.
And then
it's very beautiful.
my artwork and then this is the beaver.
Oh, look at this. I like this one.
So he falls asleep here.
Yeah, they always have beautiful woodwork on these boats.
Well, this one they ordered
Wow.
not ordered the carved door, so
Oh,
I've been
it's
adding
so
things to make
wowzy.
them similar to carved doors.
Here, Rick, you have to see.
Yeah.
So Ken he made me a washer dryer or washing machine here.
I don't believe it.
Nice.
So he had to take out the drawers down below, but made me a washing machine. And then we have a dryer, but I never use it. I just put things
Nice.
up on the rails. But this is my tree. We have a huge tree at home, and so he found this tree mirror for me to remind me of
And
home.
then we routed it out.
You need to remember
Beautiful up
some
here, too.
little things.
Yeah.
Under the butterfly hatch.
Yep.
So this is your
We have
guest
lots there.
cabin.
This is the guest cabin, and then they
guest
have their own
cabin.
ensuite. The bathroom, the door opens and closes, so it can be private on
Nice.
either side. Yeah,
Is there a light?
there is. You can turn
It's
it
just
up
at the
close.
top?
Yeah.
What is that? Marble countertops?
When they made these boats, this is the only place left with a marble, but in there
You
were
can
3
leave it
yards
open.
in Taiwan.
Oh, they have a
made
good
the Hudson
test,
Nets
Rick.
and the CTs, and they
Here's my
all
phone.
have massive amounts of teak because there's a teak forest there,
Yeah.
and they all have green marble because there was a quarry right there.
Mhm.
So all the boats originally had green marble, but it must have broken in the galley and in the back because the only one left is in the forward head.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very nice.
You have a very good test, guys.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Ken had me, this was where the microwave was, so we put a bigger microwave here, and it stores my garlic and my onions and my extra plates, because I never microwave food. But Kenny made this one, but these I love because they're automatic closers. Yeah, so we have our automatic, so that was
Nice,
fancy
yeah.
schmancy.
So nobody can slam them shut.
Yeah, and then this is the best. We did, I
like the locket.
needed files, so
I found, yeah, because
he took 2 drawers and made it into one big file cabinet for
Wow.
Business desk.
me. Yes.
Oh, what's
Do the
under
switch
there?
for the back air conditioner.
Sure.
More storage.
Yeah, more storage we can put in.
Nice.
So this used to be, Rick, a berth. And I was like, okay, who am I going to just torture being across from the engine room? So Ken turned it, he always wanted a tool closet, so he turned it into his whole tool closet. And I mean, he took this.
It's so nice. It's so
solid as a rock.
But it's so original.
Yeah, and tools here and here, so that's perfect.
Wow.
It's, it would be so nice to be able to get off on the side, but it's a compromise, right? it's a compromise.
Oh, yeah. You got
We
all
kind
the
of
storage.
Yes, we have lots of storage, and then we have, of course, another bathroom.
Yeah, you have a lot of door.
Yeah, look at all this. Beautiful.
Yeah. Amazing.
There you go. Thank you. Me too, but
Alright, from
it's what?
where you bought this?
And shower in the back.
Target. So, of course, when we don't have our air conditioner on, we have mini fans.
Oh, don't we all?
Oh my gosh.
We love our
They have
fans.
saved us. Yes, exactly.
I don't know, for dinner,
Wow,
for
look at you guys.
inside.
Yeah, sounds good.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow. You make a pitaya. Oh, the pitaya. Where do you find pitaya?
I found it at the little store right up here. What's that?
Super Toto.
Super terrible.